I'm Michael Reese.
And I'm Woods Davis.
And this is the Digital President Podcast.
We've cracked the code for generating customers online for every business model.
In fact, we wrote the book on it.
We've built multiple multi-million-dollar businesses in as little as 90 days. And the one truth that we discovered is
the best business model is doing what you love and living your life by strategy.
You truly can follow your passion and create the life of your dreams,
as long as you have the right strategy.
If you're a real estate agent and you'd like to learn how you can partner with us to help you implement our strategies and systems in your business so you can make a lot more money and have a lot more time freedom, all without ever paying us a penny or giving up a percentage of your commission, go to partnershipdetails.com and schedule a call with us today. While it's fresh in your mind, go to partnershipdetails.com. Now on to the podcast.
All right, so this is the big three. Michael Reese, co-host Woods Davis. What's up, man?
What's up, brother?
We're going to get started on this. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in for another great episode of the Digital President Podcast. What we're going to be talking about today is the top 3 campaigns. We're going to talk about what a campaign is, just briefly, but the discussion is really going to be like, what's the top 3 you need for conversion? We'll call it the triple C. Campaigns that convert and produce that cash conversion cycle.
I like it.
Yeah. Hey, but no, for real. So little backstory, a campaign by definition has to do with a goal, right? So I don't know if any of you guys ever had a goal in your business or you've ever done something like, think about this, like you're trying to raise money for the school, right? It's an organized plan of action to get to a goal. So like if you've ever had like a campaign and you were trying to, raise money at school and all of the kids were selling candy bars in order to get to a goal. Right. Well, what we're talking about is we're organizing resources and things to get to the goal. And the goal, like we talked about on the last episode in sales process, is to make that contact, right? Make the contact, determine timing and motivation. And so there's a few things that you can have in your database. Yeah, we're going to break those down for you. One of them, the first one, what's the first campaign we're going to talk?
Man, first campaign right out of the gate is something we call speed of response. And guys, the reason why speed of response is so important, this has been studied over and over. In fact, MIT did a really cool study, and we've always referenced that. And we found this to be true in our own businesses over time. And so one of the cool things that came out of this study that MIT did is that the conversion rate for leads or contacts that are in, if you're doing inbound lead generation, if you contact that person who fills out a form or gives you information within the first 5 minutes, then your likelihood to convert that prospect is 21 times more than if you call them after 30 minutes has elapsed. So there's a golden window right here in the very beginning, whenever we come into contact with somebody, whenever we get a brand new lead, to make contact with them in the first 5 minutes. And so this is really important because, guys, we're busy. We're in our businesses. We're meeting with clients. So it's super important to have a campaign or a system in place to make sure that contact is getting established within that first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and here's the thing that people got to understand. And this is, I know this is something that we don't always reference, Woods. We're talking about campaigns, but again, remember the goal here. A campaign, if somebody comes to your website, let's say they fill out a form online, but what happens when they hit you in chat? What happens when somebody goes to your Facebook business page and hits you with the message? I'm here to tell you that right now, I know for 100% fact that the time leads are decaying. They are becoming worth less every minute. And you have Saturday is 17% of the time that, the homes are on the market. You have Sunday, which is 17% of the time. Said differently, that's 34% of the time is a weekend for all you solopreneurs that have ambitious goals to one day have somebody in your inside sales department. Let me break a little secret to you. They're not going to work every day. They're going to go to the gym. They're going to eat. They're people. They're not machines. And so when you get a campaign, and even if you get clever and overlap them, you might have one that takes what are those e-cigarette breaks, all of those things you can't, and this is what people got to understand. You can't forecast. When I was writing Inside Sales Predictability in 2016, 18,000 outbound calls a week, had up to, 18 ISAs in a call center, read all of the books on call center, got them right over here over my shoulder, did the study instead of sales development. Here's what I learned. I could put people into a campaign and do better. Listen to this, do better than giving it to all 18 of my people to call randomly and fumble through. And the reason why is because it was a predictable system. And what I mean by that is that when a lead came in, within 2 minutes, there was a call, then there was an email, then there was if the call, for instance, when it called, it would leave a voicemail. Hey, this is Michael Reese. I noticed that you just filled out a form on our website. I was with the client, but I'm reaching back out to you. I'm going to send you a text and an email with my information. Please give me a call back. Then the text would say, hey, I don't know if you got my voicemail yet, but I'm sending you an email as well. Just trying to get a hold of you. I know that you were interested in a property, right? And so all of that stuff was, here it was. It was set it and forget it. And here's the thing. It was a great value proposition, and it gave me my sanity. I mean, the number one thing that I hated the most, I never met an agent who was not willing to answer their phone. But, it would be like pulling teeth to get them to call a lead back. I remember I would shop my own people, Woods. This is true. Mm-hmm. I would shop my own people, and I would have one or two problems. I'd have the lead hog, right? And we should do a video like this, like Dude Perfect, where they have the lead hog. But here's what the lead hog would do. You would hear beep, beep, and they'd be scanning their groceries at the store and trying to convert the lead, right? That's the lead hog, right? And so, you try all of these. Well, let's make everybody's phone ring at the same time, and let's see who can get it first, and let's create all this competition. People have tried to solve this problem. I'm here to tell you, you put a speed of response campaign in place, set it and forget it, because it obeys the laws that govern. When that person was filling out a form online, when they were filling out that form online, basically, that means they were at a computer right then, ready to talk. So if I fill out a form right now, I'm not kidding you. If I fill out a form right now, I'm telling you right now, my phone's at the shop. When I get off of this recording, I'm going to pick up my phone. After I pick up my phone, I have something scheduled. But if I'm sitting here right now, I have free time.
Right.
So if I fill out a form, you want to get a hold of that person. You don't want to have to create 16 more attempts to have the same conversation you can't have with me right now, because something might change. I might go drop my son off at a friend's house. Maybe today's Friday, tomorrow, to spend the night. And on the way, guess what? I see a property for sale. I call the sign. Or even worse, I meet the parents for the first time. And guess what? He's got his for sale sign, shirt on that says, he loves referrals or whatever. You never know. But you want to have that speed of response, man. That's where they are. That's where when somebody's hungry, you want to serve them. You don't want to call them back up and be like, hey, listen, I know you were hungry today at 1:00 and it's 3:00. Just wondering, have you eaten yet? Nah, think about it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, once you have the speed of response established, right, that's got to be attempts within the first 5 minutes. And man, we have, like Michael said, we have a series we actually make our agents, their phone does ring. We try to do a warm connect immediately. Then we have voicemails, we have email, and we have text message. Land, sea, and air. Part of a campaign is being able to use multiple channels.
Yeah, we use Attract ROI. It is what it is. We have a system that we use where we build it all out when someone comes on board, and it's just because it's the most affordable with all of the bells and whistles that you need. There's things like Agora Pulse that you can use, especially once you become, like one of our partners. Probably do 50 million this year off of YouTube. Well, in his world, he's getting tons of people contacting them directly, either making a comment, sending a direct message. And the cool thing is you can build out that same type of contacting campaign with those individuals. And that was my phone call this morning, was with the guy who, that's what he does for a living, is he creates those same chatbot type campaigns.
Yep.
But it's the same thing. It's speed of response. You still want that lead to be, you want to get engagement with them right there when they're hot.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about kind of like the next step. Once we've kind of gotten them into we've deployed a speed of response campaign to be able to reach out to them within the first 5 minutes and be able to try to establish that contact. Then we go into what we call is a contacting campaign. The entire goal of that campaign is to get into a conversation. And this is the biggest thing that we have to focus on. A lot of times people are so focused on leads and how many leads we generate and all that stuff. All that stuff is vanity metrics. We don't care about that. We want to know how many conversations we're having. Just like when we were doing the numbers, based on our partners in Dallas, it was 1 out of every 34 conversations turned into appointment. So if we're trying to reverse engineer for appointments, how many conversations do we need to have? And so having a campaign that's going to initiate those conversations is absolutely critical. And what we've discovered is when we implemented a campaign, and these campaigns, we make them specific to the lead source. So, if somebody's calling about a particular, let's say if somebody's calling about new construction, or somebody's calling about Acre Plus Properties, or somebody's calling about selling their home and getting a cash offer. So like we make those contacting campaigns specific to that lead source. Right now, we average right around 50% of the leads, the inbound leads that we generate. They either call us, they text us, or they email us. They email our agents because of these campaigns that are in place in order to try to get the conversation started.
Yeah, and it's just conversion, right? It's, when you get that lead, if you didn't make contact with it, you really only have two options. Let's think about a solo agent. You get the lead, you have this contacting campaign, they don't answer, they don't text back. Time goes by. Now where you're left with what? No system. You're left with willpower.
That is
the most successful people in the world, they do not rely on their own willpower to be successful. Because you know what that means? That means on Thursday, when it's homecoming, you had all of these things going on. You had a good week, a lot of closings. Maybe you were invited to go have dinner at one of your favorite restaurants with a friend. It's that time when you don't want to do it, that those inconsistencies that could cost you a lot of money, because it's the compound effect. It's week over week, month over month. So when you can make sure that, what happens 7 days after a lead that you haven't made contact with, first of all, what is the metric that you use to measure your success on whether you're doing a good job or a bad job at the top of the funnel? If you can change one metric, think about it. Would you want every 10 people who come to your ad to, let's say 1 out of 10 people to click on the link, or would you rather have 2 out of 10? And when you look at the numbers, when people land on your landing page, would you rather have 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10? When you work down the funnel, if you had to choose one or the other, you'll realize by choosing the conversion at the top of the funnel first, it puts more people into step 2, into step 3. This is how the math works. Well, when you get into your sales process, a lot of you guys, once you start learning marketing, you're going to think, well, let me get more leads. Well, no. Let's get a better system for contacting the leads you have, and then staying in contact with the ones that don't want to do something today, that want to do something tomorrow. And that's why, these are the C squared, right? These are the campaigns that matter. And the reason they matter is because they give you predictability. They give you consistency. You're no longer determined on, you can give Bill can be way better on the phone. He can articulate his value. He can be more aggressive. But if Bill isn't making the same contacts, Bill might call, on Fridays, because maybe Bill's single and, every other Friday he doesn't have his kids. So for him, it's Fridays and Saturdays. It's a good time for him to just sit down, buckle down, and do the work. That's great. But what if you could have a system where everybody had the same thing? And what happened if that system beat all of their individual numbers, or beat all their numbers combined? That's what these campaigns do. Now it gives them a better experience to use the same time if they was, instead of calling 50 leads to try to make contact with them, they can follow up with 50 that already have been contacted, that said, hey, contact me in 6 months, looking to do something in 90 days. Now you're using that human resource on that next step call where you went manual. So now it's, hey, listen, now I'm just making follow-up calls. Fortune's made in the follow-up, but people don't want to do follow-up because they associate follow-up calls with prospecting calls, with contacting campaigns. You don't have to do the contacting campaigns. Let the campaigns do the heavy lifting, and then you work where you make the where you change the outcome, where there's already trust built, where it's already has permission-based marketing. They've already said, yeah, listen, right now, they call me right now. Yes, in 60 days, I'm buying a house, probably 90, 60, 90 now, even if something goes wrong, I don't care on God's green earth. If something goes wrong, worst case, 5 months. I mean, possible worst case. Best case, 45 days, I'm buying a house. This is in real life, right? Now, if somebody calls me right now, I'm not buying a house today. If I fill out a form on a website, I can guarantee you I ain't filling out only one form. If I take the time to sit down and fill out a form, I'm going to probably fill out a couple forms because I'm in a jam session. I'm doing research. I'm on Freedom Friday. I took the time to plan my day to get to the answer to this. But I can swear to you, if me and you talk and you say, hey, Mike, well, do you mind if I touch base with you on December, mid-December and see if your plans change and everything still? If you call me on December 14th and say, hey, Mike, how are you doing? I just wanted to touch base with you. We had a conversation back in insert month, and I was just, you had said contact you I would be like, you would almost have me by reciprocity of like, I feel like you did something. I mean, it seems stupid, but you would stand out so much on making that one follow-up call. Now for me, I call them. I'm okay with no on that call.
Yeah.
I'm going into that call expecting, man, I'm gonna get this guy in Q1, Q2. I'm gonna see if his plans change. They probably did, because half the time they do. And then I'm gonna get permission to call him in March. And that's just going to continue to happen. But that's where you could be investing your time when you're not investing that same energy on doing the other things that these campaigns we're talking about can do.
Man, it's interesting, when you mentioned like the reciprocity, of people. Like one thing that we see all the time when we're going down and doing an autopsy of like closings, and we go and look at the communication, and when we establish contact and got into conversation with somebody, usually it's probably 6, 7 text messages deep, 4 emails deep before that person has even responded. And a lot of times what we see is when people actually respond to a contacting campaign, some people will say, oh, I'm sorry, I've been so busy. Yes, we're looking to, buy something in Frisco, or, you know what I mean? Like, so they respect that. Some people worry about if we're being too aggressive with our follow-up, but it just shows you that it works. And especially for the right people, they're going to respect the fact that you're demonstrating to them, man, that you're a hard worker, you're following up, you're doing what you say that you're going to do. And that's why these campaigns work.
And here's the thing. I think the most important campaign you have to have. So, you have contacting, right? We talked a little bit about that, which is really, once you make that contact, right? You have that speed of response. You made that contact, you've really sifted and sorted by the point, which is determining their timing and motivation, like, finding out the goal of the call, right? But once you've done that, a lot of the times, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to nurture that people. You're going to want to nurture that person. And I'm telling you right now, most of you, if you have you will become unbeatable with a great nurture system. It will surprise you. It's the easiest phone call to make. It's where you build a brand. It's where you get people to know, like, and trust you. And so, nurturing is not, you have to think out of the box, because you can nurture people a couple of different ways. You can leverage video, you can do broadcast, you can feed them selection, update them on what's going on in the market. But what I want to make sure is people understand, make sure that at some point if I had to put it in order, nurture would be the third campaign in the order. I wouldn't do it first, because, if I'm not even contacting all my leads, it goes back to the one number that, if, that number is going to have an impact on how many people you get to nurture. Because if you're not making contact with all your leads, you want to get a lift there. But if you can lift, get a lift from, like, let's just say that there's a certain percentage of your leads that are going to do business in the next 30, 90 days, and you're capturing a certain portion of that market. Well, there's also all of those unconverted leads. There's a certain portion that are going to do something between days 90 and 365. And how much, if you're not capturing any of that market, that should be your bread and butter. 20% of those people are doing something. You have less competition there. You build trust way faster. You're finding people where they're more advanced in the sales process. You're able to build more rapport over time. I just think it's a way better business. And to be honest with you, that was the motivation of Digital President. Because when we did Inside Sales Predictability, we made the calls. We found the nurtures, but we realized and we came to the conclusion after looking over the numbers, 161 people in January 2016 said that they wanted to buy or sell a home that year, but not right then. And if you look back, because they answered the question, they actually answered the question in the next 12 months. 161 people in January 2016, one ISA, validating assumptions, building a model, an outbound model. Fast forward to the end of June, literally a third of those people were either under contract, home was listed or already sold. For some people, I'm sure there was an expired in there here or there. But the most important thing is that was a good list of people, 161 people. You can go out in February and March, April, and May and try to find new clients. But if you neglected those 161 people, it'd have been a lot easier, way better business, just keeping in touch with those people. Hey, Susie, it's Mike again, just touch base with you. And the point of reference is it's following up, but the nurture is, communicating to them, validating the value proposition. If you're leveraging, our NAEA value proposition, which is, a proven repeatable system backed by market research to sell your home for up to 18% more than the methods used by traditional agents. And if you sell a home for, 8.9% more than the average per square foot in the neighborhood, take the time to get that video, send it out, right? Put it on your business page, retarget that list, create a custom audience, all of those things so you can stay in front of those people and be that incredible Hulk in a puddle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, the biggest thing to consider is you're building a relationship with these people over time, and you can do that at scale. The best way to build a relationship with somebody is to spend time with them, right? If we were to spend time together face to face, then that would be the highest form of bonding that we can do. One of the easiest ways to recreate that is through video. We're spending time with you right now on this podcast, whether you're listening to this podcast or whether you're watching the video. Hi, we're glad we can hang out today, right? But we're spending time together and we're building trust. And as consumption goes up, trust goes up. So really, people, I think, that are looking for a way to incorporate more video into their business, or they're looking even just for a starting point of like, man, I know I should be shooting video and I know I need to be using it in my business. Well, let's start by using video to communicate with our database. Let's start by feeling an obligation like, man, I have to at least email my database weekly. So what is the content? What is the video that I could shoot that would add value to my database this week? And use that as a starting point. Don't even have to be fancy. You don't have to put it on a landing page or anything like that. You can just upload it to YouTube, send people directly to a YouTube video. In fact, that's what we do right now, and it works great. And there's a lot of different strategic reasons behind that, and that's not the point. But the point is getting that content in front of the database, developing that relationship, spending time with them, so you're staying top of mind with them. And then, of course, we can continue to layer in additional offers. And as we do follow up, we're not picking up from where we left off 6 months ago. Because we've been around, we've been in communication. Maybe they've watched a couple of videos. Maybe they've spent 3 hours with us because we sent them, 10 videos and they watched all of them, right? So it's just a huge opportunity. And that's where we see the biggest lift just in our personal business is through using that video and just emailing our database, communicating with the database.
I love it. Hey, listen, guys, if you liked this episode, whether you're watching it on YouTube or you're listening to it on Spotify or iTunes, make sure you subscribe. If you're on YouTube and you liked it, while you're down there, hit like button and turn on notifications because we put out new content like this every single week. We love producing this type of content. We're going to give you a little recommendation of The Godfather, the book. No BS, trust-based marketing. Go out and get you a copy. It's not the best real estate agent. It's the best marketer that has the most clients. And if you'd like to get more clients, if you'd like to learn how to build a funnel and get more clients, if you'd like us to help you build a funnel where you can attract people for who you are, not what you do, where they'll be predisposed to do business with you, that old freedom funnel, talking about doubling your business, then make sure you go check out Partnership Details. Partnership Details, we got a partnership opportunity where we can help you grow your business. And remember this, your business can change in an instant. It's your decision that takes a long time to make those changes. So head on over to Partnership Details if you'd like to take your business to the next level. Jump on the phone with me or Woods. We'll talk to you about a little marketing plan. What we would do if we were where you were right now, what we do if we had the same goals of where you were trying to go. With that being said, the best life to live is a life by
strategy, baby.
Yep, let's do it. I appreciate you, Woods. Great episode. Those are the 3 campaigns. Make sure you have them. Speed of response, contacting, and nurture. See y'all.